If we talk about the most powerful weapon in the world today, it has to be the nuclear bomb. This is something the two big mushrooms the Americans planted in Japan can prove. But is it really that hard to build a nuclear bomb? What's so hard about it? Sometimes you need to look within yourself, don't you? After all these years, with all the advances in technology, have you tried to study it? Ignoring the hydrogen bomb, the atomic bomb's principle is simple. With uranium ore, you could tinker with it in your garage. The only real technical challenge might just be checking whether the uranium you bought is still usable. And if you want to imagine an even more powerful weapon, as we've mentioned in previous videos, there's the antimatter weapon. Compared to that, a nuclear bomb is like me comparing my wealth to Jack Ma, or Jack Ma comparing his looks to mine, completely different leagues. It's really hard to even imagine weapons more advanced than that, since it's difficult for people to picture something they've never seen before. By the same token, the ancients could not imagine the appearance of hot weapons in today's world, so Zhuge Liang could only borrow the east wind, but he could not get it. With that in mind, those scenes in sci-fi movies where two starships line up and fire at each other point blank just seem ridiculous. They're fighting interstellar wars, but still using tactics straight out of medieval pirate battles. So most sci-fi movies still show a lack of imagination when it comes to future weapons. All they can come up with is greater power, longer range, and higher accuracy, like taking out an alien machine gunner from 800 light years away with a single shot. If you ask me, the weapons used in future interstellar wars definitely won't just be guns that shoot farther or cannons with more firepower, but weapons operating on a much higher level. Today, we'll discuss weapons using physics laws. By laws, we mean universal rules. The speed of light is 300 kilometers per second, and it's the same for trisolarans. That's a law. All the weapons we've talked about so far use physical laws to strike the enemy, whether it's through thermal energy, radiation, or kinetic energy. Even the Trisolaran's formidable droplet weapon simply relies on direct impact, nothing else, just sheer force. This shows that the most advanced weapons often employ the most primitive forms of attack. Wasn't it the same with Yamagami, the Japanese man with the homemade shotgun, who used the most primitive weapon to make Abe open his chest? If Japanese men's courage is 1 stone, Yamagami has 12 do. Others have 2 do left for apologies. So, the droplet is also using physical laws, relying on kinetic energy to destroy its targets. From this perspective, there's really not much difference between the droplet and Master Ma's 5 consecutive lightning whips. They both rely on impact. The only difference may be that the droplet is extremely hard, while Master Ma's hand is a bit softer. The progress of human civilization is about discovering and applying laws of nature, from using stones and sticks to make fire to launching missiles with many warheads, harnessing physical laws. So you could say that the bamboo pole that struck Shimenqing on the head was a gravitational weapon, or that the stone you use to hit someone is a quantum cluster directional transition kinetic cannon. But what we're talking about with law-based weapons isn't simply using physical laws, it's about modifying those laws, which is equivalent to altering the underlying code of the universe. For example, the two-dimensional foil in the three-body problem makes the solar system a famous painting dimensionality reduction. Or, for instance, if a weapon could alter Earth's gravity, we wouldn't even need to resist, we just have to surrender immediately. Ordinary people can withstand at most 2 to 3 Gs of acceleration, while astronauts can handle up to 8 or 9 Gs for a short period. Even with that, a young beautiful girl would instantly turn into a wrinkled old lady. If the Earth were suddenly subjected to 100 Gs, everyone would be flattened like a pancake. It would be a real-life battle royale. The droplet mentioned earlier is so hard because the Trisolarans use the strong nuclear force to compress protons and neutrons tight together, leaving no gaps. Essentially, they've turned the droplet into a gigantic atomic nucleus, which is why it's so hard. But if we were to unleash a law-based weapon and directly erase the strong nuclear force in the droplet, it wouldn't be hard anymore. It would be as crumbly as an almond cookie if you took a bite. If we had that kind of technology, even if the Trisolarans ate Ultraman eggs, they wouldn't dare try to take Earth from us. From then on, the tables would be turned. The Trisolarans long for it, and so do I. There's a science fiction novel called The Orion Line, which tells the story of an alien civilization that, in order to stop humanity, built a defensive line stretching for light years. Within this line, the speed of light was artificially increased, so whenever a human fleet entered the line, the change in the speed of light would alter the electromagnetic force and cause the ships to disintegrate. A law-based physical weapon like the interstellar Great Wall of low light speed black holes in the three-body problem. Looking at it this way, conventional weapons are like constantly upgrading your gear while playing a game, but still staying within the overall rules of the game, whereas law-based physical weapons are like playing with cheat codes enabled. How can you even compare the two? So it's not unreasonable that some people believe the universe is virtual after all. All the laws of physics are like the underlying code of this virtual world, completely locking us in. If that's really the case, then it's truly terrifying. No matter how advanced technology becomes in the future, we still wouldn't be able to create weapons that can alter the laws of physics. After all, the player of the game might be able to use cheat codes, but as an NPC within the game, do you really think you could use a cheat code?